Welcome back to From the Petty Corners reality series recap. This is a recap of Road to the Title Season 3, Episode 9. I have Kiali, the Chief, here with me today. Welcome, Kiali.
Hi, Diana. The Petty
Did I
Corn.
pronounce your name right? Because I always mess up names.
Nah, don't worry about it. I get it. I get that all the time. So you're close.
I always
Probably.
just call you the Chief because my son will sit there and res me.
Love it.
So they started this episode out. They ended it with the beef that you and Brandon had. You guys came into the house, and I guess he tried to talk to you because you guys knew that you were going to kind of fight, and then just stuff went crazy there. My son actually did a little recap because I was trying to explain the fight. He's like, "Hold on, Mom, I got this," and he explained the whole fight. But yeah. You guys were going back and forth, and then you ended up slapping him. So, why didn't you just wait till the stage to slap him?
That's what everyone has been saying lately, and I see the comments and stuff, but I'm not going to hold back. I came into the house to take over. I wasn't there to just fucking shake your hand, be buddy-buddy or best friend or some shit, but, I was there to make sure that I was going to display dominance, and which I did. At the same time, it's bro, you don't. There was a lot of I guess it was divide between who was the villain and the hero, I guess, and I would portray myself as, I guess, the hero at the situation because I was calm, cool, and collected. But I gotta give it to him. He was, at that moment, I knew that I was going to be matched up against someone that was hot headed. I just didn't know who it was, so. Coming into it, I knew that another guy that was in the house already established his dominance. He fought for his position in the house, and me coming in as a new fighter, so I knew some people were going to be rubbed the wrong way, and that's how things ended up happening.
But it wasn't a new fighter because it was a whole vet squad. But I get it. Sometimes when you're in the moment, your emotions get the best of you, and you're this can't happen. So you just let it out. So then you slapped him, and then he tried to guillotine you, and then you guys got separated. He soccer kicks you, and then he gets tackled. I don't know if it was production because I didn't recognize the guy was holding him, but it looked like he had him in a body triangle and a headlock or a kind of a rear naked choke, we'll say.
Yeah. So I mean, there's there's been a lot of comments back and forth with Brandon and I, and he's been trying to say that he wrapped up a triangle choke on me and he submitted me. I'm like, dude, you have not. You don't even know your ABCs or your 1, 2, 3s. What makes you think that you know what a fucking shape is? You did not throw up a triangle on me. Not alone that you're speaking fucking kindergarten shit. You do not know what mixed martial arts is. You do not know how. I mean, you never committed. You never competed in a combat sport. From what I know, he has been playing soccer for his fucking whole life. But come on now. You're stepping into a man sport. We're not kicking a fucking ball. We're kicking heads. It's different.
Yeah, and then you start throwing his stuff down the hall, and you made
Yeah,
it known that it was your house. So
of course.
I do love that this episode that they showed us more inside the house, and my only critique of this season is that they make the episodes longer. Because I feel like I'm really enjoying this season, but then as soon as I get into it, it's over. So I would love to see more house stuff and then more fights because they did it perfect. That was probably the best episode, personally for me, the whole season so far. But then they match you guys up. They didn't kick them out, which we've seen Ultimate Fighter. They kick them out and stuff. You guys still get to go against each other next week.
I mean, it's going to be exciting, so stay tuned. You guys don't know. I mean, I can't say what the fuck is going to happen next, right? So I would love to, but because of NDA reasons, you guys just have to stay tuned and enjoy the ride. But other than that, it's the intensity. I can see what the production is doing, which is great. I mean, kudos to him because this is this is the only TV time that he's gonna get. This is the only fucking, spotlight that he's gonna have in his career or his life. But he, after that, after this next episode, it's gonna be a lot different for him. He's
So
gonna have
it's
to find
safe
a
to
new
say you
job.
guys haven't. So it's safe to say that you guys haven't made up yet. Like you guys aren't besties, or we won't be seeing you guys out at a bar drinking together or anything.
No, I mean we're not gonna be besties at all. Of course not. I mean, if he wants to, that's fine. I mean, I'm down with that. But at the same time, you've disrespected a lot of people in the house, not just myself, and you made a fool out of yourself, and you've been trying to play that role of the villain again. I mean, the heel. I guess someone said this in another podcast or some shit, but he's trying to be the heel of the sport. Like, dude, who wants to be the fucking heel of the sport? You just look like a jackass. At the same time, it's either you want to be a warrior or you want to be a peasant, and he's a peasant. It seems like he's a peasant at this moment.
And then we saw him start taking digs at Pono, and Pono actually kicked him back. And I was like, "Oh damn!" Because Pono, like when I saw the matchup, like the pictures of him, and I said, did he go against Jinx? Was it? When he go
Mm.
against Jinx, the first match,
Yes.
I was. I was like, damn, these guys are scary looking. So like, I wouldn't want to mess with him. But like, when you start to see Pono, he just seems like a gentle giant. So like, but now you're messing with his brother. So like, how could you not expect him to not step in?
Don't get me wrong. I mean, don't ever underestimate my brother because he has the
Hmm.
same blood that courses through my veins, right? He's just a humble giant. At the same time, it's he chooses a different route. I choose a different route. I choose a route of violence and making a name for myself in history for a very long time. I love that belt in that corner, by the way. So, I wanna make sure I'm either holding something like that or a power slap belt in my
Shout out to the
division.
UFC for selling those kid belts.
Fucking amazing. I love it. Yeah.
Because
So at the same time, I'm grateful. At the end of the day, I'm grateful that I get to share the same platform with my brother.
I love it. Yeah, you guys can see that there's a great relationship there, and he's willing to go to battle for you. He said, no matter what, at the end of the day, it's my brother, and I'm sticking with him no matter what. So I like to see that. Um, yeah, but I mean, maybe they'll have you guys face off again in the future. I mean, we'll see what happens on the next episode. So,
We'll see. I mean, I got some no spoiler alerts on this, but I have something brewing up for the Mutt and I, and the reason why I said the Mutt and I. So if you guys haven't saw Tombstone, I believe it was with fuck, what's that cowboy's name? Wyatt Hurt. Wyatt Hurt. He ended up talking to one of the guys in the bar, and he called him a cur. So Brandon's last name Kerr means the mutt, and I'm just gonna say it right now, bro. You're a fucking mutt, and I have to put the mutt down. So hope you guys stay tuned because we have some news for that specific reason.
oh, well, I can't wait to see what petty stuff you got brewing because
I
I'm
can't
here for
wait.
it always.
I love it.
um, So then after all of that commotion and stuff, they did show us like the PI, the training and everything they went in there. And then we finally get to the episodes and it's Ronald Stanton versus Brandon Rhodes. Brandon Rhodes was fighting at light heavyweight the whole time. How do you feel about him coming down to middleweight?
He's made a name for himself, especially against the Butcher,
Edward? Oh, okay.
Brandon
Yeah,
Rhodes,
Brandon
right? We're
Rhodes.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's the Ripper, right? Brandon Rhodes is the
Yes.
Ripper, and so he made a name for himself against Brandon
Bordeaux.
Bordeaux.
Yeah.
Well, I don't give a fuck. I don't care less about these motherfuckers' names. But Brandon Bordeaux, the Butcher, whatever. He made a name for himself, and I met Brandon Rhodes on the show walking in, as you guys all saw, with my brother holding him back and shit. So I met him after that, and I was kind of interested because this little hot-headed guy was having a great time. which you all should, But
Hmm.
he was just having a great time. So I met him after, and he seemed like a swell guy. But going against Brandon Bordeaux and you know putting on a match like that against the top five, whatever, I have to give him some respect for
I
Brandon.
love it. Did you guys like have a chance to build a good enough relationship while you're in the house?
No, I was just going ham, to be honest. I was training and doing my own thing, and I met, a lot of amazing guys that have different walks in life and the journey and stuff. But I'm not there for that. I'm not there to be a brother brother situation, and they're all swell guys. Don't get me wrong, but I'm there for a reason. I'm there to fucking get through this division and have a fucking championship belt wrapped around my waist.
I love it. Okay. But he was fighting in light heavyweight, right? He went against Stan. The first match he had was against Salazar, and Salazar flinched and he broke his orbital bone. Well, he shattered it. Um, this one, you can tell this man has power because, yeah, he stepped, but he ended up knocking Staten out and with one slap. So that was really impressive. I'm excited to see what else he does in the middleweight. I'm sure you're like, yeah, well, let's, we'll have a go at it one day.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm number one. I mean, I'm ranked number 8 for now until I get into the top 5, which I don't consider is top 5 at all. To me, no, I should be at the top fucking 2 right now. So, shout out to Isaiah, by the way, against John Davis, the fucking champ. But other than that, yeah, if I have to wait in order to do so, whatever, it's fine. It's okay with me.
Love it. Okay, and then the next match, or actually, sorry, in between the two matches, they showed Blake Howard, in the house, and he takes out his dentures, and Riley puts it in his mouth. Sorry, Riley, I don't know you, and maybe one day you can come here and explain explain yourself. But I think that it was so gross that he put his dentures in his mouth.
Okay.
Were you there for that?
I don't know. I don't think I was there for. Well, I think I was, but I was doing my own thing. I got into the house, and then me and the other OGs that got into the house, the Fantastic Four, by the way. Yes, I mean we had a great time, so everyone was having a great time. But no, that's fucking ham. That was ham. Riley, you're a dog. And by the way, when I saw that, I would never want to put fucking Blake's teeth in my mouth, knowing what I saw on the show with that guy. But
Uh,
it is what
well,
it
just
is.
like anybody, period.
Anyone, anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Riley. I'm not roasting you. I'm just, it was like live for the whole world to see.
But it's
So it has
great.
to
I
be
mean,
talked about.
it's great because it's marketing. It's
Yeah.
marketing, and that's one of the things I wanted to say too. Is that if you're on the show, you're on the show for a reason. You're not on the show to be buddy buddy. Fucking what is that? Okay, who is shout out to Stitch? Shout out to Stitch with the whole buddy buddy whatever tomorrow thing stuff. I don't know. I'm new to this whole thing, but at the same time, I'm not here to be that whole buddy buddy person. I'm here to make sure I bring an audience. I'm making sure that I'm building a platform for myself so that way I can create a bigger audience, not just for myself,
Mhm.
but the platform itself.
Yeah.
That's what matters. And shout out to
Love it.
Riley because he's doing it.
Yeah.
He's doing
I
it.
mean, we're talking about him. And I
Correct.
don't even think he had a match that day. So, yeah, it's working.
It's working.
Okay, but the next match we saw Darius the Destroyer come back. He is probably one of the most experienced slap fighters of all time. 17-3, the most iconic rivalry in probably slap fighting history with him and Wolverine. Unfortunately, he has never had a win in Power Slap in the Power Slap organization until he went against Cody Hrashnik, it was a very close match. But I am just really grateful that we got to see him come back because he was literally the coach on season 1. So it was like a blessing to see that familiar face and an OG and all that stuff. So, hopefully we'll see more from both him and Cody. But what did you think of their match?
What I thought about the match, I went home before the match even, started. So because I believe they were like the last or some shit.
Mm.
But what I thought about it now that I got to watch it, I just watched like 2 nights ago, and it was a good match. That's a good fucking matchup, especially with a comeback too. Um, Cody, shout out to Cody because he came into the house with this fucking dog mentality, like this alpha mentality, and I could sense that he was there for a reason, like either to take over. But this is my house. This is the Chief's house, the fucking my castle, and the fact that he tried to call me out and stuff, which I was very surprised. I was like, bro, you gotta humble yourself. You have no clue what you're stepping against. You should just stick to your weight division right now, and then move on to the next. But other than that, I give him respect for that dog mentality, which he brought into the match against Darius, and it showed. It showed in the match. It was a good matchup. I like it.
Yeah, and I love it. And he's also a returning guy. I think he was like on the qualifiers or like the very early stages before the houses and all that kind of stuff. So they were both returning actually, but
Yeah,
yeah, it was very refreshing. Could you actually look like a really big guy, but I've never met you in person. So, sometimes people like they'll look a certain way, and like in person they'll seem smaller, or a lot of times like they look smaller online, and when you meet them, they're like way bigger. Could you
yeah,
make light heavyweight, or could you make welterweight?
yes,
You could
easily.
make both.
If I no, not no, not fucking I can make welterweight and then light heavyweight, so I can go
And
up
light
and down.
heavyweight.
Yeah, my
Okay.
my my capping would be welterweight, but my maxing would be light heavyweight, 205 for
Yeah,
sure. That's
that's dope.
that's light heavyweight, right? 205.
Yeah, 205. So it's
Okay.
170 is welterweight, 185 is yours, and then
Yeah.
205 light
So
heavyweight.
this is the goal. I can't believe you just fucking said that because this is my manifestation. This is what I want. This is actually what's gonna happen, and I'm gonna say this now on your show. Um, after I'm done with the middleweight, I'm gonna defend the belt because a lot of these guys, after they hold on to the belt, they feel like the champ. After a few wins and stuff. But shout out to the crazy Hawaiian because he's right now he's the highest number of defending his belt. So shout out to him. But I want to be the next in line for the Hawaiians. I wanna be able to sustain the belt in middleweight 3 times, defend it 3 times, move down to welterweight, suffer, and as we all know, cutting weight sucks. So if I'm suffering, you're gonna suffer with me. Whoever is in my weight class is gonna fucking suffer with me. And then when I gain my weight back, when I eat healthy after that on the weigh-ins, after weigh-ins, I'm just gonna destroy welterweight. After I sustain the belt in welterweight 3 times, and there's a reason why I'm saying 3 times. After I sustain it 3 times in that weight class, I'm gonna live life. I'm gonna travel. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna travel and live life. I'm gonna go up in weight class. I'm gonna go up to light heavyweight. 205. I'm gonna feel comfortable. I get to travel. I get to eat. Why not fucking take over 205 too? So
That would be insane because we've never had, well, the welterweight division's never defended the title. Um, Light heavyweight, it has been taken from,
from Chris, right?
yeah, no. The welterweight weight was Chris, and then,
Oh, welterweight was Chris. Yeah.
but the light heavyweight, was there somebody before Wolverine? Because the Wolverine was heavyweight, and then Damien took it from him. Um, I feel like there was a light heavyweight before Wolverine came down and took it. Because he came
I
down
don't
after
I don't
Damien
I
beat
don't
him.
care who it is though. That's crazy. It's
Okay,
like
we'll move on then.
right. Let's get back to the petty moments because
Yeah, no,
this
that was just
is
me being a history nerd.
I know because I'm like to be honest when I stepped into the show of Parslap season 3, I didn't know who Darius was. I didn't know who Alan was or Will and Frost. No, I had a great time, meeting them outside of the show because I got to see who they really are, not in front of the cameras.
Hmm.
But other than that, it was like I've never followed up with the Power Slap season 1 or season 2, so I was like, damn. When I came into the show, it was me against the world. So the guys that I met prior to the show, I was dogging them too. And no one's gonna say this, but we had a great time. We got that out of the way, and we stepped into the show. We
Yeah,
had a really good time.
that's awesome. So when you guys got in, like the Fantastic Four, you guys were like putting a hotel together, and were you guys just like chilling and stuff before you got into the house?
Correct.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
that's what built the bond. So
Yeah, and you guys got superhero names now.
right? Isn't that fucking amazing? I mean, we don't know what's gonna come out from this, but maybe it can do something like marketing or some shit for them, not just for me.
Hmm. Okay, and then the next match, the last one was Vince Tracy and Radulavi, and that was a welterweight match. So maybe you want to go down there one day. Um, what did you see from those guys, and what do you think of their performances? I knew Vince had a freaking chin on him, and Rod knocked him down in the first round, but it's just like it almost like it like woke Vince up, and he just got better and better as the rounds went on. But it was still like a tough battle between both of them, and I loved it because
Hmm.
Rod from his first performance had like a huge personality, and then Vince was just like, "Okay, I'm here to work," you know.
Yes.
But what do you think of that?
So I got to see the later part of their worth ethic, like you just explained, and I guess Rod had developed respect for Vince, seeing that type of worth ethic on both sides. But their match was evenly. That was an even match. That was a really great matchup, by the way. Um, Rod is just like, how would I put it? He's like the genie in a bottle. He's a genie in a bottle. If you rub it right, and you fucking smack it a few times, then he'll give you a magic wish. But it's not gonna come out on your best. It's not gonna come out on your favor. It's gonna come out in his favor. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
He's that little genie that reverses that fucking wish for you. It's like, oh, you think you're gonna get that wish? No, I'm gonna actually take it from you. He reminds you of that. And so shout out to Rod because he's my homie. They're both of my homies. Vince and Rod, you know, they're amazing gentlemen, and I can't wait to go to Canada. Right now, I have a sour taste in my mouth about Canada because of fucking Brandon Kerr. But other than that, I mean, I'm not too sure if he's from Canada or not. Whatever. But that's the reason why. But much love to Canada. I would love to. I would love to see Vince, in the future. I know that Rod won that match, so I'm gonna have to go with Rod.
Yeah. And I think like between those two, like the welterweight needs some shaking up, kind of like power, like when Isaiah came in and knocked out Wesley like that, like they needed that shaking up, you know?
Yeah,
And then, people can stop talking about you, Brandon, Bordeaux, Azael, John, and Isaiah. The welterweight needs something like that. And I feel like those two guys are going to come in and shake up the division.
correct.
Obviously, we need to see Anthony Blackburn and Emmanuel Muniz their rematch first,
Yeah.
and maybe even a trilogy. But they need some shaking up.
I mean, I want to see. I look forward to Manny and Kale Chris. Because there are a lot of like drama between those two that was not settled yet, and I feel like it's not settled still. But if the way that he's
I
carrying
feel like that
himself,
might be a lot one sided though.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm not gonna
Because
lie.
okay, so my perspective is Manny knocked out KO Chris, right?
Hmm.
But Manny and Anthony went the distance, and it was a split decision. So, like, I would like to see that rematch before I see Manny fight KO Chris. I would like to see maybe KO Chris. I feel like if you're looking at the UFC and you look at Power Slap, KO Chris needs to fight down to fight his way back up because he had two
That's
title
true.
shots. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he lost his title, and then then they gave him a title contender shot, and he lost that one too. I mean,
I
Blackburn
totally
literally
understand.
knocked him out of his shoe
That I
and then
totally
knocked him
understand.
out too.
Yeah.
So he's coming off 2 knockouts. So I feel like he needs to fight down. So like maybe give him like a Chris Debo or one of either Vince or Rod, and
Yeah.
prove himself to
I mean,
why.
look what Darius is doing too. So
Mm-hmm.
it's the same
Yeah,
thing.
he's literally fighting someone coming in on off a show.
Hmm.
So yeah, but that's just my perspective.
Of course.
All right, next week we got you and Brandon, which I'm excited because they've been building this hype since the beginning.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited to see how that turns out. And then we got James Turner versus Bryce Jones, and then Raiden Bombardier and Joshua Newsom.
For next week or this week?
Well, they get this week coming up.
Sorry. I was like, wait, for next week? Wait, what?
Yeah, the next episode.
I got you.
So I'm excited to see those. But yeah, that wraps up episode 9. I did want to ask you because it's been all the talk. Like I said, your division, Power Slap 9 is coming up next month. Who are you taking on that title? The co-main event. You're going to go with John the Machine Davis or Isaiah Quinones?
You really? I don't give a fuck about any of these
You're like, I
guys.
hope they both lose. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
don't care.
I really
I
like
don't
both of
care.
them.
No, for real. I don't care who the fuck loses or whoever wins. But at the same time, I have to respect that because they've been in the sport longer than I have. So to be honest, the reason why I want John Davis to fucking win, and it's only because of this, because we had a bet, and I called him out on this, and I believe he did an interview. It was him, Brandon, and Aziel did an interview with Slap News, and they were talking mad shit. So I'm like, bro. So I called them. I called each one of them individually after because I didn't make it to that interview, and I wasn't on time for it, but I called him individually, and John Davis was one of them. And I said, John, if I win against you, my guy, you're gonna have to shave everything on you, like your head, whatever hair that you have left, you have to shave it. And the fact that I saw him fucking on someone's interview with a clean cut, I'm like, wow, that's fucked up. But now, I really wanted to against him because of that reason, and also to have the belt and be the real champ of this division. But other than that, all the jokes aside, Isaiah deserves to be the champ because he represents himself in the way that he does. He carries himself as a champion. He works all the time like I do. Um, he doesn't deal with bullshit, and he's actually presentable. You want to be the poster boy of Power Slap, right? You want to be the next Conor McGregor of Power Slap. So, um, yeah, I'm going to have to go with Isaiah with this one.
Love it. I just want a good match. I mean, John, and it has to be respected though. He has been the champion since Power Slap 1, and he's had 2 defenses. And then he went like out on
Yeah.
an injury, and then he's been trying to come back. So it's going to be nice seeing him come back. The middleweight division can finally move forward. But I just want a good match, and I'm really excited. The only thing I wish is that I was going to be there to watch it live, but I'll be watching from home.
I mean, yes, it's going to be great. I hope everyone else is tuning in because it's still going to be a fucking amazing card. It's going to be an amazing card. So
Yeah.
I can't say more, but yes, it's going to be amazing.
Love it. Do you have any final words that you want to say?
I do. Shout out first and foremost. Shout out to you, Diana. You're amazing. Shout out to the
Thank
Petty
you.
Corner for always covering, Power Slap athletes and giving us a platform to share our stories and just be petty. But at the same time, I have to finish this with being the most petty of this division. Fuck off, middleweight. The Chief is here. This is the Chief show. And whoever's next, please get that pillow because you're going to be sleeping for a very long time. Thank you,
I love
Dan.
it. Of course. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And I'm definitely going to have you come back to do a whole regular episode. I know we've been talking about it for a while, but I was like, okay, your drama's brewing, so we had to have you here for this this recap. But I really appreciate you, and I can't wait to see what's next for you.
Likewise.
And then for those of you guys tuning in, be sure to like, follow, subscribe, all that good shit. See you next Tuesday, and stay petty, bitches.